What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at a bit of a strange Pokemon in Sylveon, because Sylveon is typically a charmer. That's what it used to be known for, at least, especially in the Open Ultra League. That's where you would mostly see it. Today we're going to be looking at it in the Great League, because that's what's available. And we're also going to be looking at it with Quick Attack. Now, Quick Attack lets it to get to its charge moves a lot faster. And it has access to the buffed Psyshock, which is a legacy move, but we do have it on our Sylveon. And then an option of either Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam. Now, Dazzling Gleam did get reworked this season, but we're actually using Moonblast because Moonblast sims a little bit better on PvP. So that's what we're looking at today. We're pairing it with a Steelix and a Shadow for Alligator. So let's take a look at some matches. Okay, right away we have a Wigglytuff lead. This is a great lead for us, so we're just going to stay in this match. And my opponent is staying in, so that's a little bit strange, but that does let us get off some Psychic Fangs and then just farm with these Thunder Fangs. And even though these charms are resisted, they don't really look it, even though Steelix is super bulky. And an Icy Wind already has us at the exact same HP as they are, so that's just fantastic. Either way, that Psychic Fangs is going to put them in the red, and we are going to get the full farm down before they're even able to get to a second move, which is really nice. And then they come in with a Golisopod, which is a little bit crazy, because that means they must be super weak to Thunder Fang Steelix. They were staying in that matchup, and now they're taking super effective Thunder Fangs, and we're debuffing their defense twice now. So we may as well just stay in, get off as many as we can. Yeah, put them deep into the red. So we have Switch. We get one turn lag on bringing our Pokemon in, which is fantastic. We have Switch, we have Shield Advantage, and their Pokemon is very low, and it's a Air Slash Mana Buzz in the back. So we are looking pretty good. If this is the, obviously we have a Fairy now on this. We get the Attack Fall as well, which is, I believe, is a 10% chance. So coming in super clutch there. At this point, we can just let it go and then sweep with our Shadow for Alligator with 2 shields. There's nothing really my opponent can do at this point, even though they do have a move loaded on the Golisopod, maybe almost 2 even, so we just kind of be wary of that, especially with the health that they have left. At this point, we're not going to get to 2 moves, so we just kind of have to commit to the farm down. And even if they get to 2 moves here, we can live 1 X Scissor, but just shielding the first just in case they only get to 1, and they get to a second one on 1 HP. But it's not enough to KO, and we still have the Sylveon in the back as well, so we're able to take that game. Another Wiggly lead. Okay, a little bit strange. I think people are picking up on something. And then they come in with a Shadow Drapion. I farm 4 Thunder Fangs and then catch their Aqua Tail. So that puts us at energy parity, which means, actually not energy parity, because I snuck a Shadow Claw through on my Switch, which is fantastic. Because now that means even if they get a crunch debuff here and then go Aqua Tail, I can still pace equally and win CMP. So this will be a positive matchup. They do go straight crunch, and they do get the debuff, so I throw on CMP with what would be an Aqua Tail. And this will also be able to be enough to KO, which is fantastic. They come in with Marowak. It's a pretty nice play. Just get the Mud Slap farm down. But now we can just align our Sylveon on this. Sylveon can very comfortably take 1 move. Doesn't even put us in the yellow, so some pretty decent bulk on this Pokemon. It's think of like the Furret that I showcased a few days ago, pretty similar bulk to that. And then they go for the aggressive farm down, which allows me to get to 2 Psyshocks. This won't KO, but it will put it nearly in farm down range. But I do stay in to get those quick attacks because Thunder Fangs are double resisted, and I'm gonna have to take 1 move here because they have at least 2 at this point. So take 1. Shield the other, and then just play out the lead against the Wiggly after we get this farm down. Or if they don't concede the farm down, that's okay too. At this point, just going straight Earthquake because I just need damage on this Pokemon. I don't really need to be debuffing their defense. And I'm still even able to get to a Psychic Fangs on top of that, which is nice. Not having to take a move here is huge because now it's Thunder Fang versus Mud Slap. 2 more Thunder Fangs get the KO, and we're able to take that game. Okay, Weezing on the lead. This is a pretty great matchup. They only have neutral brutal swings, unless they're a Mad Lad and they're still running Overheat. But they come in with a Dusclops. We have a decent answer with Shadow Feraligatr. It's not really an answer, but we do have super effective Shadow Claws. And I don't believe one Hydro will KO, unfortunately. And it doesn't. Dusclops is extremely bulky, so just gonna have to concede the shield and then come out with a Hydro and a half loaded, which is fine because they're not gonna be able to Fairy Wind farm me down. So are they gonna come back in with that Weezing is the question, and they do. So this means we can farm up to back-to-back Hydros. They should just be getting to a Brutal Swing at this point, so I'm just gonna click the move right away. And they actually throw as well, so this is gonna be a CMP tie, which means all that energy is wasted, which is huge. So this will be enough to KO, unless they undercharge, which is a nice play, but they only get one extra Fairy Wind worth. And then it's a Dusk Noir in the back, and Wiggly would definitely be better in this situation with that half normal typing, especially with neutral charms instead of resisted quick attack. I do go for the full boom of the Moonblast, which is probably a mistake. Yep, and they shield that up. And look, I also made it to a Psyshock, so I probably should have baited. That being said, this will do some decent chip, and then it kind of just has to put it in farm down range for my Steelix. I do have to shield a Dynamic Punch here, or a bait, who knows, but they do full send, which is pretty nice. And then they try and catch a Psychic Fangs, which is kind of surprising, on their Weezing. And this gives me a win con, because now I can just go for the full farm down of this Weezing, come out with an Earthquake loaded, go for good timing because they're not that close to a move. An Earthquake from the yellow will be more than enough to KO Dusk Noir, even the non-shadow. And we will take that game. Okay, Dragalge. This is a bit of an awkward lead, right? Because Thunderfang's resisted, but Dragon Tail's also resisted, and then we have super effective Psychic Fangs, and they have super effective Aqua Tails. So it's just going to come down to kind of a bulk matchup here. Who has better bulk or better IVs? Who knows? But both of us making sure to throw in good timing, which is good because that allows me to outpace. And it doesn't look like one more Aqua Tail will KO. So do I want switch? And I'm choosing no. I do live the Aqua Tail, and one Thunderfang does KO. So we actually win switch with 1 HP, and then they go for a rollout farm down on Blastoise, which is something else. Maybe just going for the extra energy. We do get a few Thunderfangs plus a rollout in through there. And now we can just soak up these Hydros on Feraligatr, but they do farm up to a Skull Bash, so I will respect it. They do bait with a Hydro, potentially on Hydro and Ice Beam, but then they're farming back up to it again, so I'm not so sure. I'm just going to go for the Hydro, and yeah, the fact that they shield that when they could have lived it too probably makes me think this is a Skull Bash. Yep, and there it is, which is nice, but that still doesn't mean I get the full farm down without them reaching another Hydro, so I'm once again forced to throw my energy, and they shield again just to get a resisted Hydro off here, which is a decision. But let's see what is in the back, and it's a Cradily, so I guess that makes a little bit more sense because they didn't want us to get to an Ice Beam, but if they had saved the shield, they wouldn't be taking that right there. And then I don't want to get farmed down, so just coming with my Sylveon. Quick Attack is resisted, and they do get off the Rock Tomb, but I can outpace here, even over farming just slightly, and this Psyshock will be very easily able to KO from that range. They come back in with the Blastoise, only to get Quick Attack farm down, and we're able to take the win. Okay, Jump Pluff on the lead in the next match. This is a pretty neutral lead, believe it or not, but we do have a slight advantage. Obviously, our fast move is not resisted, but our charge moves are a lot weaker in this scenario, especially because Energy Ball has a chance to debuff my defense as well. But fortunately for me, they do not get it. And we will always be able to outpace just by one turn because it's 7 to the first on the Energy Ball and then 6 thereafter. So just throwing the Psychic Fangs right away will allow you to outpace. And then they come in with a Lapras. Psywave is resisted on me, so I just stay in, get those Thunder Fangs off, throw the Psychic Fangs, and we actually grab a shield, which is massive. And then we come in with Feraligatr, just going to eat any move here. Hopefully they're on Hydro Ice Beam. And they do throw the, I mean, not Hydro, Sparkling Aria Ice Beam. And they do just throw the Sparkling Aria, which is nice. and that allows us to get a Hydro off. And at this point, I can probably just let this go. No, I'm in a shield. Interesting. Maybe hoping to get the farm down and come out with some energy. Not really sure why I did that, because now they're just going to come back in with a Jump Pluff. And Jump Pluff, yep, can eat a Hydro from that range and then KO. But we can just let them KO us at this point now. And just come in with the Sylveon, get the quick attack farm down, a couple of quick attacks, energy advantage is nice. And then they have a Blastoise in the back. So going to go for the harder hitting move here, not expecting them to shield the first. And they do let that go, and we get the attack drop, and then we go for a catch on a Steelix. They're kind of forced to throw either way because rollouts are resisted, and that means they burn some energy. And at this point, I just shield this up because this is only a Skull Bash, excuse me, and they're not going to get to another. And they have no shields remaining, so able to get the Psyshock off after we grab that final shield, even though I just lied and said they had no shields remaining. And gonna take out the Blastoise with the Psyshock, and we're able to take that win. Ignore that mumble jumble whatever I was saying. Cradily in the next match. This is an awkward lead, to say the least, because they have neutral, bullet seeds, and grass knots, and our fast move is resisted, but we can't really come in with Feraligatr as our safe swap, so we kind of just have to stay in this matchup. And then they go Rock Tomb, which is a little bit strange, but I believe by Rock Tombing, that actually puts them in a little bit of a better situation, because I don't think 2 grass knots KO. Let's actually take a look at how much damage this does. Yeah, so kind of a smart play. They're gonna need 3 moves either way. So going for that Rock Tomb first means they can take these charge moves a little bit better and actually outpace to that 3rd move, and the grass knot will KO. So pretty smart play by my opponent. Not sure if they did that on purpose or if they knew that, but that's pretty smart. We come in with Feraligatr to get the Shadow Claw farm down, and then they have an Azumarill in the back, which is pretty unfortunate. Gonna go just gonna go for some resisted Hydros here. This is actually a positive matchup for Feraligatr in the, I believe it's the 0s and the 2s, only losing in the 1s. So I could be wrong though. So we will just eat the play rough and then come in with our Sylveon, and we can just throw the Psyshock right away, because this will probably be enough to KO the Azumarill from this range. And they shield, which is a little bit interesting. So I'm just going to shield back, because why would you shield a low HP Azumarill just to get off that Ice Beam in a situation like this? So going to go for the Psyshock once again. Hopefully this time we KO and find out why they shielded that in the first place. And there's a Dunsparce in the back, so that doesn't really explain it. They do allow me to get to the Moonblast, because they were trying to go for good timing, and that does connect, which is massive. And then I go for a Drill Run catch, but they actually let us get to a Hydro, which is pretty massive, because now we can grab that last shield. And even though Shadow Claws are resisted, and they're at back-to-back moves, and our fast move gets denied, even though all of those things happen, we can live a Drill Run, we can shield the second one, and then there's no way they're going to be able to outpace to a 3rd before I'm able to get to the Psyshock. And the Psyshock from this range will be enough to KO the Dunsparce, and we're able to take that win. So very, very consistent 1-turn lag. So I know it's back for everyone, but holy hell, they just do not want to fix that thing. Anyways, we've got a Weezing on the lead in the first match, a Weezing, and they come in with a Serperior. We don't have a great answer here, so we chip with our Psychic Fangs, and then just go for switch into our Sylveon, and then we throw the Psyshock on what would have been CMP with an Aerial Ace, but they do not throw it. And at this point, I kind of want switch, yeah, and I think I can get the quick attack farm down before they make another move. And then if they come back in with a Weezing, I have super effective coverage with the Psyshock, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. We'd probably be able to grab a shield back. But instead they come in with a Mandibuzz, which is pretty surprising. And they are forced to shield a Moonblast, and that means we can now come in with our Steelix. And unfortunately, all of our charge moves are completely useless here. So I think I'm just going to go for these Thunder Fangs and then hope they switch out eventually so that these charge moves are useful somewhere else. because I don't really want to throw moves here. And yeah, they finally get out into something else, but it is their like 1 HP superior, and I didn't think they were going to get to a move either way, but in case they were, I throw the Psychic Fangs, and this allows me to also get to a Psychic Fangs against the Flying Chicken here, Flying Vulture, sorry. And they actually shield a Psychic Fangs, which is a bit odd, because at this point, yeah, I'm just going to come in with for Alligator. We've got a shield advantage. We can shield any one move here, but I'm not really concerned about one. I think charge moves from the Weezing are going to hurt more. And because I debuff their defense, I get a resisted Shadow Claw farm down, and we leave with 2 Hydros loaded. So there's not really a win com for an energy dry at Weezing here. And my opponent just resigns the match. Okay, Guzzlord. This is a bit of an awkward lead. Kind of just got to stay in this matchup. We also don't have Breaking Swipe in this matchup, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but we can get off some resisting Psychic Fangs and resisted Thunder Fangs and still do decent chip, and then maybe land an Earthquake later on in the match after we've debuffed their defense. And we can live 2 crunches here because their Dragon Tails are resisted as well, so it's not the end of the world for us. And now we're just going to go for the Earthquake because this will be able to KO with a debuff defense. And then they shield, and it's like, oh no. And I kind of just have to stay in and let them farm me down because I don't really want to come in with my Feraligatr where Hydro and Claws are resisted. And then they safe switch into a Charge Bug, which is also bad because Feraligatr doesn't have any play there, so I'm forced to just stay in this matchup. And am I going to shield everything here is the question. Yes, because I need my Sylveon for the Guzzlord, I think is my thinking. And here's the new pacing on Discharge, by the way. Only 3 to the first, which is the same, but 2 to the second, which is new. So that's pretty cool. Maybe an interesting Pokemon to look at. Still don't love it, though. So we're able to win the 1-0s there. Get the Quick Attack farm down, and then they come in with a Weezing, and I bank the Psyshock for later, and then they come with their Guzzlord. At this point, I can live any one move because they're not going to be able to farm me down really with either Pokemon, and they have to make a choice. Do they shield this and then get Quick Attack farm down by my Sylveon, or do they let it go, let me get to a charge move here on their Weezing, and then now I have a Psyshock loaded with a shield. And yeah, my opponent kind of has to either make it to back-to-back moves, or they have to get the farm down with the Fairy Winds, and neither of those are happening. So able to take that win. Blastoise on the lead. This is much better than, like, say, Feraligatr because the rollouts are resisted. And these Thunderfangs are doing some pretty decent chip, and we can comfortably live a Hydro. It only does about 50% Steelix, and that's just the bulk of Steelix coming in clutch there. Gonna get off a Psychic Fangs. That does some decent chip, and at this point, especially when they throw on alignment, I can just shield 1 Hydro and then go for a full Thunderfang farm down and come out with loads of energy, which is super nice. And then they come in with a Cradily, and since we're already at the Earthquake, excuse me, the Earthquake, we are able to get that off, and that does connect. Probably not expecting an Earthquake to come from a Steelix. And they go for the Grass Knot to KO, and we come in with our Feraligatr, and they switch into a Primeape, and we have a pretty decent answer here in Sylveon. They could go for either Ice Punch or Rage Fist here, both are neutral. They do obviously go for the Rage Fist, and we have 2 super effective charge moves, so I'm just going to eat these Rage Fists, save my shields for my Feraligatr, and oof. Terrible timing there, throwing on CMP, because now they could probably just let this go, and that'll put me in a really awkward spot because 2 shield Cradily will screw me out. But they shield, which is massive, because now we can grab a shield back, maybe even 2. We grab 2 shield, and now we can snipe, so they lose all their energy, and we have a Hydro loaded pretty much. So that KOs, and now it's a race. Who can make it to a move first? And we do get to a Hydro before they're able to get to a Grass Knot. And Hydro does KO from that range, so we're able to take the win. Opponent really threw that one. All they needed to do was 2 shield Cradily, and they had the win. But we got a Drapion on the lead in the next match. We're just going to play this out because we don't really have any other better solution here. Maybe go for a catch on the second Aqua Tail. Yeah, I like that play because now they're in one Hydro range. So we can always play to the evens. They do come in with Blastoise and then they just throw a Hydro. So I'm not really concerned about one Hydro. It'll put me low, probably deep red, but it will not KO. Yeah, and I'll still be able to get off the Hydros that I had stored either way. So there's one. Here's two. And this will honestly probably be enough to KO if they don't shield this. So they do shield that up. And now I do have a Steelix, which gets one turn denied when I switch in. Jesus Christ, this game. So I do just shield up the Hydro. They're going to make it to another. I can live it, but I probably would rather not take it. Yeah. So double shielding the Steelix now. Would have gotten that farm down if I didn't get one turn switch, which is really unfortunate. So I had to give up a shield that I wouldn't otherwise have had to. Fortunately, we have the surprise factor of Earthquake. Do they respect the damage? Shout out Homeslice Henry. They do not. And it's a Dunsparce in the back, which is pretty good news for me because I can just get off the Psychic Fangs, and now they're permanently debuffed without an ability to reset. I do try and go for a Drill Run catch onto my Sylveon, but I'm unsuccessful. But they're going to throw Drill Runs either way. So we can take one, we can take two. Sylveon's decent bulk, helping us survive these moves here, and going for a harder hitting Moonblast is pretty interesting. I would have gone double Psyshock because they're low as is, but I guess this does force them to throw their energy, and I almost got to another Psyshock. But when you debuff their defense like that, there's not really any point in doing that. Just go double Psyshock. Especially from that range. They're in the yellow. We've got fast move pressure, and at this point they are in just Psychic Fangs range, and they're not going to be able to farm me down because rollouts are double resisted, and we're able to take that win just barely. Shouldn't have been that close, but we do take the win. Clodsire in the lead. I hate these leads, but we are kind of ABA weak to Clodsire, but we're also kind of not, right? Because we're just going to throw the Psychic Fangs on the Earthquake, which is still super effective, and we can take one. The only issue here is they will outpace to a second before I'm able to get to an Earthquake. And one Earthquake from Steelix doesn't KO, which is why I went Earthquake first. And I believe if you go Earthquake, then Psychic Fangs, it also doesn't KO just quite. So that's why you have to go Psychic Fangs, then Earthquake. And I do shield that up, and then I overfarm quite a bit, and then go for the Earthquake, hoping they don't know about the Earthquake coverage. And they do, so they shield that up, but then they throw pretty much on CMP. I think they did throw on CMP with the Psychic Fangs, so that's nice. At least their energy will be burned, and we just kind of soft lose the ones. They do full send the Earthquake. We can just come in with Feraligatr, and we should be able to KO. We obviously don't lose CMP. I just got one turn lag once again. So when we're forced to eat a move that we otherwise wouldn't have even needed to take because it would have been CMP, so they would have had to either shield to get that off or had to let their Pokemon go down. So that's great. They come in with the Blastoise. We're able to grab two shields, and now we need a miracle out of Sylveon because this Pokemon needs to basically kill the whole team. So I throw at the latest possible second, go for the Psyshock. That'll be enough to KO. Are they going to come back in with the Clodsire, or are they going to come up with something else? And they have Dusk Noir in the back. So this is looking rough, but they only went for 3 fast moves, which means they must be on Hex, which is a little bit nicer for us because they can't really farm us down. We can get to a Moonblast. It doesn't quite KO, and then they come in with their Feraligatr, but now I can outpace to a Psyshock. So holy crap, it's doing it. We're getting a 1v3 sweep with Sylveon. Go over 1 quick attack, 1 Shadow Claw, and that is able to enough to snipe the Dusk Noir, and we're able to take that win riding on the back of our Sylveon there. So super clutch there. In the next match, Wiggly lead. They come in with a Sableye, so we farm up 5 Thunderfangs and then catch the foul play onto our Sylveon. Now, the only issue with this matchup here is my charge move takes a while to get to, but my Jesus Christ, my fast move and my cheaper charge move take a while to get to and are both resisted, right? So They don't take a while to get to. They're just both resisted, and then Moonblast takes a while to get to. So it's still a bit of an awkward matchup, but at the very worst, we can grab 2 shields out of it because we did call a foul play bait, which is pretty nice. So we grab 2 shields, and then we can just come in with our Steelix. We can eat some foul plays here. That's breakfast. Look at that. Oh, that is the nerf right there. That was hard to watch. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna be sick. That was so gross. Ease it like it's nothing. Come in with for alligator. Kind of have to give up switch here. We are probably gonna be able to get to 2 hydros before they can get a charge move off, which is good because these charms are doing so much damage. Goodbye for alligator health. I hope we didn't need you. And now, what is that Pokemon in the back is the question. It's a Blastoise. A lot of Blastoise today, but we do successfully get off a charge move here. So this will do some decent chip. And then it puts them in... I should be able to switch. I should be able to throw a charge move, switch, go for 1 Psychic Fangs and a move before they're able to... So we get 1 turn switch on a charge move 1, which is crazy. And then they come in with Sableye. They're pretty much energy dry, so I can just go for a Psychic Fangs, and even though it doesn't KO, the Thunder Fang after will, and then we can Thunder Fang down the Blastoise, and they're able to take that win. So yeah, that is Sylveon with kind of an unexpected moveset. It's still on PvP Poke, recommends Charm. You're not going to see it sim with Quick Attack. It does do better with Quick Attack, just 100%. You saw the like 1 shield scenario that I showcased early on in the video. If you didn't skip that part, if you did, no worries. But basically, it's better, but it's still not great. But the play that I personally felt with it, as you can see from these matches, was that it was overall really strong, and it kind of surprised me. So definitely something to look at. It's a fairy type that has poison coverage with Psyshock, so potentially something that could be used as a safe swap as well. But yeah, that's the team. That's Sylveon with a bit of an interesting moveset. I hope you guys enjoy it, and until next time, peace.